You may think that being an airline attendant is the best job in the world. You get to travel the world and meet interesting people. But recently, airline attendants have detailed the worst things people should never do on a flight. These include things that will get you kicked off a flight if you do them, as well as annoying things airline attendants can't stand. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to look at things you should never do on your next flight. But before we take off, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming up first, we have jokes. Now, everyone likes to tell and hear jokes, but there's a time and a place for everything. You may not know this, but making certain kind of jokes can actually get you kicked off a flight. For example, if you make a funny one-liner about bombs or guns or anything else that could be scary, then flight attendants may kick you off. You may not know this, but flight attendants have the power to remove anyone from a flight if they think there's a chance they're a security risk. This also goes for TSA agents and customs agents at airports. In 2019, a British man was kicked off a plane to Israel after making a joke about a bomb. And also in 2019, a boozy Brit was apparently arrested after making a bomb joke. He did this on a Jet 2 flight from Ibiza, Spain to London, UK. Now, you may think I'm sure the airline attendants will see if I'm making a joke or if I'm being serious. But in their training, they're told to not take anything like that as a joke. So even if they know you're joking, they may be contractually obligated to throw you off the flight. Next up is touch attendants. According to flight attendants, the biggest problem they have on board is people touching them. One flight attendant said, "Lots of people poke our butts and lower backs to get our attention. They feel this is very, very rude and also kind of harassing." And another flight attendant told Business Insider that this happens on every single flight. So make sure you keep your hands to yourself when you're on an airplane. You may think I've never seen this happen before, but ask any airline attendant and they'll say it's a very common thing. They say people should simply say "excuse me" if they want a flight attendant's attention. Next up is calling the attendants. Do you know what the actual job of a flight attendant really is? According to their job description, it's actually to keep people on board safe. But some people don't see flight attendants like this and instead view them as waiters. Well, flight attendants are not there to cater to your every whim. Of course, if there's an emergency or you really need something, then you can use the flight attendant call button. But according to many flight attendants, passengers often use this button way too much. The button is there if you're feeling ill or thirsty on a flight. Maybe the lights are out and getting up would wake up everyone else in your row. But if you just want loads of drinks, peanuts and hot towels, then don't press the button. It's really only for certain emergencies and situations. But according to flight attendants, on every flight there's one passenger who way overuses this button. Next up is over drinking. In November of 2019, a few days after recording this, one woman was drinking way too much on an airplane. The woman, named Chloe, was going from Turkey to London, UK. However, she was super drunk and she tried to open the plane's emergency exit mid-air. The Jet 2 flight pilots freaked out and two RAF Typhoons were scrambled to intercept the plane. Luckily, the plane landed safely, but Chloe was in big trouble. She was arrested and also given a lifetime ban from the airline. Not only that, she also had to pay £85,000 of damages. Earlier this year, another British woman was drunk on an airplane when she began twerking. She then was kicked off the Spirit Airlines flight and was never allowed back. Wow, it sounds like us Brits really are an embarrassment on airplanes. Flight attendants say this is a big problem for them at work. Many people get bored on flights, so they overindulge in alcohol. But this can make some people pass out due to dehydration. And of course, planes sometimes have to do an emergency landing if people are acting disorderly. Not only that, it's not very nice if the person next to you throws up all over you simply because they've been boozing on the plane. So if you want to have a glass of wine or beer with dinner, that's fine, but please don't go overboard. Next up is ignoring attendants. This is yet another massive pet peeve of flight attendants. A lot of the time, passengers are very rude and will not even make eye contact with flight attendants when they're talking to them. Sometimes they'll also ignore them by wearing headphones and not listening to anything they're saying. This is the case for emergency announcements and also food and drink service. This slows everything down and everyone else on the plane down. Flight attendants say if people aren't paying attention, they may get scared. But then those passengers often get angry and yell at the flight attendants. Remember, the main point of a flight attendant is not to serve food and drink, but to keep everyone on board safe. So it's important we listen to them at all times, as you never know if they're saying something super crucial. Next up is hot drinks. When you're 30,000 feet in the air, it might sound nice to have a coffee or tea. But think again, on planes, you should never ever drink coffee or tea. Instead, if you want a hot drink, opt for a hot chocolate made with milk. That's because, according to flight attendants, the water on airplanes is super dirty. One flight attendant said she would never drink the coffee on airplanes. She also said the water passengers drink is the same as the water in the bathroom. It contains lots of bacteria and could even give you E. coli. So if you want a hot drink, then get hot chocolate, seeing as it's made with milk and not water. Also, if you simply want some water, make sure you buy sparkling water or water from a bottle. Anything from the tap has been through their very dirty system on the plane. This water storage system is barely ever cleaned and is very gross. EasyJet even confirmed to Mail Online that the water stored on an aircraft is used for making hot drinks and for flushing the toilet. Yuck. Next up, we have take off your shoes. When you get on a plane and want to get comfortable to travel, you may want to take off your shoes. But before doing that, think again, as it's not very nice for anyone else on board. Some people, after taking their shoes off, will lean them on a seat or on the wall of the plane. This is very rude and annoying, and flight attendants really can't stand it. They also say that people should put their shoes on before going to the lavatory on board. And finally, if you have bromodosis, which is the scientific term for smelly feet, then leave your shoes on. Nobody wants to smell your feet for 8 hours on board a plane. So there we go, those are some things you should never do on your next flight according to flight attendants. But now it's time to make your opinion heard. Vote in the poll in the top right corner which of these things is the most annoying to do on a plane. If you guys want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.